Yo, what's up guys? What's going on? It's Chase. I hadn't done one of these videos in a while. I was thinking about just doing it on my phone and posting it to Instagram, but I think it'd be better off to do this on YouTube just because of the reach that the platform has, and I can just put it out on all the other platforms for you guys to go check out down the road. But I wanted to talk about something that has come along with my experience over the past couple of weeks, and maybe as like an update. Why don't we start there? So the past couple of weeks, I've been promoting my project Ascension to Greatness. I just dropped it, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago now. I don't remember the actual date, but I've been doing a variety of things from going out handing flyers to people, going into venues giving out flyers. Like I literally got, here, I'll show you guys. I literally got like a folder with some flyers that I printed out. You know, if you want to get real try hard too, I got like a QR code on there right there. You guys want to scan it, you can go ahead. I've been handing them out to people at some of the live sets I've been doing, the live performances, which I just posted another one of those videos of the live set that I did just this past Thursday up onto YouTube, because I like sharing that for a variety of different reasons. Some for the actual moment right now to show people that I'm doing it, what you can see at the sets for people that miss out, that don't come, for other venues and other places to be able to see like, yo, I'm really doing it, and I've got like a lot of energy and the songs are awesome and it's just like a good vibe. But then also like there's a part of me that like down the road it's like, oh, I would love to see that, not only for myself to see the progression and see how far I got with everything, but then also too for the next person that's in my shoes coming up, so that they have the understanding of like what it took to get to where I am, so that there's some sort of a roadmap. That aside, kind of, what I wanted to talk about today was working and meeting other people in the music industry and space, in the era that we kind of live in 2022, which is something I've kind of touched on before, and from my POV has been kind of frustrating, even with the degree of like how much how much access there is to social media. I feel like the social media platforms in place, like Twitter and Insta, from my experience, and maybe this is just a skill set that I think, to be fair, like I'm just not quite as good at it as some other things. Like I prefer making content like this, where I can express myself in a lengthier format and have people listen and hear my opinion first, rather than like going in someone's DM and shooting them a message, you know, being like, hey, you want to check out my project or something like that, or yo, I liked your song or something like that. And sometimes kind of speaking to that a little bit, I feel like, at least from my experience, that especially as like an artist where you don't have a whole lot of immediate cachet for someone else, or things that you can immediately offer to someone else outside of, you know, talking and having like a good relationship with that person. For me, it's been a little weird, I think, to I haven't had great results, let's just say, with just like reaching out to people on social media, and I feel like a lot of times the conversations tend to be a little shallow. Some of them tend to be kind of copy pasta, or copy paste, where it's like, you know, that's fire, bro. You know, everyone says kind of like the same like 5 different things in the music world. But I try to, you know, have personal things. My mindset has been to just share who I am, like through those messages as well as I can. And I usually tend to talk more than less. That's just who I am, and I feel like I want to be genuine to that. But then again, it goes to serve why I think like platforms like YouTube and making videos like this are a better space to do so. But I know from my experience of like reaching out to people, it's not as successful as I am talking to someone. And I know from the flip side too, if and when people reach out to me, when I have people reach out, like on whether it be Instagram, Twitter, Discord, I'm more open-minded. I would think that from my experience, I feel more open-minded to responding and listening and answering to people, because I'm curious to meet people. I want to see what other people are doing. I think it's important to be open-minded and like keep a eye out for different things of what other people are doing. And you know, a lot of people have certain things to offer, and they might be good at something that's really cool that you weren't aware of, or they might know something that you don't know. And just having good relationships and other people in music, and to me it's all about people, and having those relationships and just having the conversations in the first place. So I feel like I'm more open than a lot of people on the internet. That being said, I also know that, like, you know, if you come into someone's DM and you're just like, yo, bro, it's a hard sell. It's a hard sell to be like, yo, bro, just check out my music, you know. And I get it, and I think a lot of, like, from like a music industry standpoint, like especially people that are like A&Rs or people that run radio shows or podcasts or have playlists, you know, they get like hundreds and thousands of these type of requests, or even just producers like reaching out to me like, yo, a lot of times on my Twitch stream I'll get people that come in and are like, yo, just check out my beat, check out my beat, check out my beat, check out my song, check out my song. I'm like, bro, I'm literally like live in front of you right now, like working on my song. So like, you think I want to stop what I'm doing right now to listen to your beat? Like, so I think that there's better ways of going about communicating through the internet, and I am doing so and encouraging others to do so. But what I really wanted to talk about is one of the best things that's come from me doing my live shows and my live sets and going out to some of these venues in like the Chicagoland area has just been meeting people. And this is why I kind of wanted to make this video. I wanted to give the perspective of what I just talked about before that so that I could get into this part of it. And it's very odd, because you would think in a world with Instagram and Twitter and Discord, there's so many of these spaces where there's quite literally like communities of people that are in place, especially on Discord. Twitter as well too. Instagram, I think the least of the three, but there's quite literally like producer communities, artist communities, singer-songwriter communities. I'm talking a little bit more in the music space here. But I feel like because of the access of the internet and how easy it is for other people to reach out, people are a little bit more cold. It's harder to kind of like get in the door. From my experience, it's harder to get in the door and have these conversations with people. And it always feels tough to be genuine about what your approach is and what you want out of the conversation, and then also have that conversation in the first place. Whereas it's very odd, because I go out to like a live show and you don't really know who you're gonna meet there. It's kind of like more random. Who's to say you would even meet an artist or producer or like someone like, but I might go and I meet someone who's like really good at doing camera work. Like, and that's great. Like, I have a great camera, but I would love to have someone that would do photography, video work for me, because I just think it's like so important in terms of telling my story and sharing information, which I feel is like really valuable and important, not only to myself, but for a lot of other people out there as well too, that are in similar shoes or just interested in learning about me as a person and my story and, you know, what's going on with the music, yada yada yada. But that's like a great example where it's like I go out there and I meet someone that does photography. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have expected to meet this person. It's kind of random, even though you're in a music space, right? Like I'm at like an open mic, for example. And the last that I went, I met and hung out with this guy named Asaya. I believe his name was Asaya, not Isaiah, Asaya. I believe that is correct. And he was like this guitar player, and he was telling me, when I was talking to him, I sat down with him with my buddy and I, and we were hanging out with him for the night. We sat at a table. It was fun. Like, we were watching all the acts before we both went up. And he was telling me like he was doing guitar stuff, and I didn't really quite understand at first, but he was doing like guitar, and he's telling me he did like poetry with the guitar too. And I'm like, oh, interesting. And then like when he actually went up, he had this like loop set up with like a pedal, and he was like playing. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So he had some like rhythm things, and he was like layering his guitar over each other. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I had another producer artist come up to me, and he traded me. We went 1 for 1. We traded our handout. He had a handout for his music with a QR code, and I traded him as well too, and I got his number, and I'm just like out there meeting people, and it's like I think it's a two-way street. I think it's odd because it's like you go into an environment where you don't necessarily know who's going to be there, but the connections you make, because it's actual like human connections, are way deeper. And I feel like that's a space in the internet right now, with just because of the massive amount of people that are now in the music world, from producing to artists to music executive to people on the business side of things, to marketing type of people. There's just so many people, and music is so competitive that, you know, people get hit up all the time, and it gets to feel robotic and analytic. And I've had like 100%, not 100%, but like 95% like success rate with just talking with people in person, you know, and having that actual connection. And I feel like it makes sense, right? It makes sense that like that is the case, but my brain is also like at the same time like, well, I also would like to have there's obviously space and there's opportunity like in the internet landscape too of, well, damn, like we need to figure out a way to make these like connections a little bit more personal as well too in the internet as well too, because obviously like if you have so many different venues or avenues, let's say avenues on the internet between Discord, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, website, forum, to meet, hang out, talk to people, but it's like mostly via text and maybe direct messages or in like a server. I think more things with really connecting with people over voice is important if you have those opportunities. Very important. One thing I like to do sometimes is I'll just send a video to someone the first time I like talk to them. And saying that out loud now, like I should get more in a habit of doing that more often, because I think that's like really successful. Like I did that with my buddy Millsy, who like, he reached out to me on Discord and I got back to him. There's so many songs off this project that like literally came from me being in Discords, having a Discord in the first place, for people to be able to join through my Twitch server. And these songs really like turned into the project. They turned into Ascension to Greatness. Like it really happened, and it really mattered a lot. And it's only just a handful of things. So a handful of connections, a handful of interactions. And I wanted to share from my experience that I feel like these environments where you would think it's a little bit more random, but it's in person and you have the opportunity to meet people, are like, I found them very, very valuable. And that being said as well too, I think from an internet standpoint, as much as you can make it personal and genuine with like real intent of what you want to get out of the conversation, it's important to, I think, be in that direction. Even if like someone doesn't pick up on your energy, I think then it's just like kind of like not meant to be. That energy just wasn't matched. It wasn't there at that time, and that's okay. What I would also encourage people to do as well too, like quite literally what I'm doing right now this very second, is also have areas where people get to know you and you share your information in a space where you have the opportunity to talk, have people see you on like video if possible, because video is just the way to go at this point. I prefer longer conversation, longer video type, podcast type, you know, what we're doing right now, like longer formatted type videos as opposed to TikTok, when I'm really getting into more thought-provoking, deep conversational stuff, because it's just like it takes that time and it takes that feel to really like have that understanding. Even from like one of the last videos I did, because I've only done like maybe like a handful of these videos up to this point, I've had people in the Chicagoland area that are producers and artists hit me up because of that video, and they found it on YouTube. And if I hadn't have done it in the first place, it wouldn't have happened. We're just in a different space and time now where sharing information is to your value. And I think what I would encourage people that watch this video is when you have the opportunities to go into some sort of a music setting or space, and it might not be quite what you think. Like an open mic, it might not be quite what you think. But I've met, I don't know, like probably like 10 to 15 people now that I have their numbers, like I've talked to. They're artists, they're producer, they play an instrument, they do camera work type stuff, like you name it. Like I've met a lot of people now that just going to these things, even if you didn't even go and perform or something, where it's just like the in-person connections are important. And I think on the flip side of that too, when you're in the internet space, like if you're on, I want to talk about the receiving end actually first. I think on the receiving end, no, let's take it from the approaching point. If you're someone reaching out with, you come across, like, I'll give you a great example. Today I was on TikTok, I'm scrolling through my feed, and this girl comes up, and I'm just like, wow, she's an attractive girl, she's got a great voice, and I just like ended up going through her page, and I'm like, wow, she's got a good voice, like, oh, okay, cool, like, and then my brain was like, wait, I have a song that she would sound good on, and I wasn't even like I was thinking it was a song that I had that was like done. And you know, I just reached out and talked to her. I reached out and I said, hey, like this is X, Y, and Z. Like I don't know, I came across your page. I wasn't planning on it. It just kind of happened and it triggered my brain. Like I got the song. I think you would sound great on it. And you just go from there and you just have those type of conversations. And I think just be real and genuine with people up front and try to make it something that's really about, you know, on a person-to-person basis. I would cut out as much copy pasta from your approach as possible and add in like personable, let that person know that you spent some time like really going through their content and checking out like what they're bringing to offer, like whether it be their music, their videos, their content, you know, whatever that is, maybe a podcast, yada yada. Show that person that you are invested in their story when you're coming to them for something for your own benefit as well too, so that there's that match there. And the final thing is I literally, like we're doing right now, like I would really encourage people to make YouTube recorded type content like this where you can get your thoughts out and just share information, share your story, share what you're going through. Like we just live in this space now where it's just, that's what it's about, man. It's all about connecting with people and letting people see who you are and being like comfortable with that. And then finally, I guess I forgot the one thing I want to say. So on the approaching end, I think of like reaching out to someone on like Instagram, Twitter, or Discord, but also too for everyone that's, you know, watching this video, I think on the receiving end too, I think we need to do a better job, just because there's so many people reaching out. Hey man, like if people are reaching out to you, if you've got the time to check it out, man, you should check out what people are doing, even if it's a little like, even if their approach is a little off from what you would think. Like that's something I had to get better at. Like I would get annoyed. I'm on record with sometimes being annoyed with people saying like fire 100 or whatever, like, but I've had to get over that because I just realized, you know, there's a lot of like younger people that, not even that much younger than I am, that's just, you know, some of the lingo, and that's fine, you know, and I've had to kind of like get over that some people use that. I would encourage people to make it a personable conversation when you're reaching out to other people, but I think too, don't close the door on other people just because of their approach. You know, it's another human being out there that reached out and wanted to connect with you and talk with you, and I think we got to remember that from both sides of the equation here, that there's real human beings out there that are trying to connect with you, and even though it's like, you know, you're not right there in person, you know, there is someone on the other side of that screen for the most part, if it's not some sort of bot with some sort of link that's taking you, but you know, you get what I'm saying. Anyways, I wanted to share that. Encourage people to keep reaching out, encourage people to make content like this, encourage you to go to more music spaces, you know, open mics, concerts, some places where you can actually like talk to people, maybe even like sort of conferences as well too. I think is a reasonable idea as well too, especially if you want to like just talk with people. Like that seems like super reasonable, whether it's like a producer conference, South by Southwest type of thing like that. That would, you know, that type of stuff's amazing. And I just wanted to share this and like kind of get that energy out because I felt like this would be beneficial to a lot of people and honestly myself. Even like just going through this rant now, like I feel like I've refreshed a couple ideas for me, which is great. So thank you guys. I appreciate everyone that's checking out the project. If you haven't already, well, it's up. Ascension to Greatness is live. I got it up on the website at chasedavidsonmusic.com. You can go and check it out there. The project is up in its entirety. You can download it and stream it for free. I'm doing it on the website right now before I do the mainstream release because I wanted to give an experience for people. When I was growing up, like I kind of grew up in the iPod, shuffle, CD era where, you know, there were no smartphones, and I felt like when I would listen to music, I had just so much more of an experience. Like I can remember when I listened to like Shut It Down by like Drake, like at my lake house, like out on out on a tube, just sitting out in the sun in the lake. These kind of moments, like I wanted to create an experience for people, and I felt like from my experience so far in the streaming space that I didn't like the vibe and the way that the music was being put out at this point. I felt like I could do it more effectively and give people a better, more personable experience that they'll remember from going onto the site, being able to download it for free. I'm not charging anyone anything right now because it's like, it's an underground thing. It's supposed to be about the experience and having it be meaningful, and that's what's important to me at this point. So I just wanted to, I'm very proud with how the website turned out. I built it myself, which that was an experience. I did not have any experience doing that, and shout out to my mom's friend Tom who helped me like transfer the domain as well too, because that was above my skill set for that for sure. So thank you as well for that too. But that's enough from me, guys. Thank you guys for everyone that has been listening and supporting the project. Chasedavidsonmusic.com. You guys know where you want to go. Check it out. Anyone doing some gymnastics here, you want to scan the QR code, go for it. And for those of you guys that are trying to keep up more on like a day-to-day basis, follow me on Instagram, Chasedavidsonmusic, for events like I'm doing open mics if you're in the Chicagoland area, or anyone that just wants to reach out and connect. Instagram is a really good place to reach me. Chasedavidsonmusic at Instagram. So if you want to check that out, it's a great place to reach out and connect with me if you're a producer, artist, music person, industry person, camera work person. Like that would be awesome. I'd love to hear from you guys because we're going all the way up, motherfuckers. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate your time. Hope this is helpful for you. This was definitely helpful for me. Have a good night, guys.